Okay, so most of the times when we start talking about our traditions and culture, people try to refer us to our shrines and the fact that some of them look dirty and blood sacrifices in terms of animals go on in there and all that. Listen, there are people I've come across who are very spiritual, don't have shrine. On them, you don't see anything that kind of relate them to their traditional way of life or spiritual. And yes, though at heart, they are very spiritual. Spirituality goes beyond just the physical, manipulating substances and objects here and there. It first of all starts with the will. So you realize that those who are spiritual gurus or have been able to advance so high on their spiritual path don't have so much around them, except for the fact that maybe you see them in some long group in assorted colors depending on what they stand for, and then a few chains here and there. They would probably not engage in frequent rituals like we do. But there are levels to spirituality, and I feel the reason why the shrines were there was because for many people, seeing was believing. And of course, in as much as we eat food to stay healthy or to grow, is the same way the shrines will be there, so there'll be a source of reference for most people who wanted some focal points for whatever they were doing. For instance, there are most people that if they want to learn to pass an exam, they choose one particular spot and they sit there because it becomes a comfortable environment for them. It kind of syncs with their energy and they're always at peace when they get there. There are some people, they can be in environments and all of a sudden it feels like something is not well, something is not comfortable here, they have to leave here. You get it? So all those things we had in terms of the shrine, the artifacts, the idols, all those blood sacrifices were human communication with unseen entities. However, it doesn't mean that when you don't have these things, you can't function well, because people have cited examples like, if those shrines and the gods were so powerful, how come they couldn't save ancestors from slavery and all that? It's humans who made those shrines as physical embodiment for their gods. It doesn't mean that they couldn't communicate with their god. But the point is, when you get used to something for a very long time, it becomes a kind of focal point for everything you do. So for them to have those shrines and set one or two things there, it was a focal point for the fact that it gave them easier connection to whatever spirits they were calling upon or trying to relate to. For instance, Agrada bent her shrine and some idols and things, claiming she's born again. And recently, I saw her on radio or TV, whichever it was, insulting people again. I'm like, then what is the use if you become born again? Because I thought Jesus said, if someone slaps your left cheek, give the person your right cheek. But obviously, she hasn't repented. Spirituality is more on the inner than on the outside. And like I said, I'm a traditional person. Once in a while, I love to put on a lot of traditional ornaments because physically or mentally, it gives me some sense of belonging to whatever I ascribe to. Sometimes too, I prefer to go with nothing on the outside, yet at heart, I'm fully into my traditions. Whether you see one or two shrines being bent, you see idols being thrown away or discarded, doesn't mean that the gods are not there. Gods don't reside in these things. It is human beings who make them focal points. So when you steal idols, you bend them, you are wasting your time, At the end of the day, it depends on the kind of connection whoever embodies those things would have made with them. For some people, once they have those idols and focal points like the shrine, they put their all into those places. Like somebody who works so hard to build a house. If properties meant nothing, then people won't build houses. People just go about their daily activities and just sleep by the street. But it means a lot to be able to invest money, time, and activities into something in terms of these shrines and idols. And so obviously if you should burn these things or discard them, it kind of mentally drains whoever has a connection to them. However, I feel if somebody is well balanced in their spiritual walk and traditions, then the person can equally do away with those physical things and still be highly spiritual. So, well, it depends on how you want to see spirituality, but for me, it starts from the inward first and then it translates on the outward. Let's learn and get to know the way of ancestors so we can see the beauty in them.